Hello everyone, this is Sudipto from Technical Potpourri, and in today's video I'm going to talk about Jotform. It's a very powerful platform to create all kinds of forms that your business need right from your Salesforce, and the most important part is that you don't need to write any code. It's all about configuration, dragging and dropping all the UI elements. Not only forms, it comes with all the different types of advanced things like ESignature, integration with all the payment forms, all the approval steps and everything. So in today's video, I'm going to show you all the features that comes with Jotform. So before I start, I'd like to thank you Jotform for sponsoring this video. I was playing with this platform for last few weeks, and to be very honest, I'm really impressed with all the features that comes with Jotform. So without any further delay, let's dive into that and explore all the things that Jotform provides. So first, how you can log into Jotform. Their website is jotform.com, and once you come to this page, they have an option to sign up. You can sign up with Google, Facebook, or basically with your email address. Once you signed up, you can click on this login button and then you can log into Jotform. So I've already created my account and I'm going to log in with that account. So I click on login and this is my username and password. I click on login and I am within the Jotform. So once you are logged in, this is the page that you will find where all your forms will appear here, and basically you can create your team, you can share the form with others, or anybody else share their form. You can find that forms under this section. So with my Jotform account created, now my next step is going to configure or integrate Jotform with my Salesforce org. So for that, I'll log into my Salesforce developer org and I'll show you how you can do that. So here I am in my Salesforce org. Now to install Jotform within my Salesforce org, I need to go to the App Exchange and install their App Exchange product. This is their App Exchange listing, and this is a Salesforce app for Jotform. I'll provide the link in the description of this video. You can go and install that, but basically it's very easy. Anybody who has done this before, for them it's very easy. So come to this page and click on Get It Now, and then you need to select whether it's a sandbox, or it's a production, or it's a developer org. And then you will go and install this App Exchange product within your Salesforce org. Since I've already done that, so I'll show you how it will look like when you are within your Salesforce org. So once it's installed, you click on this and search for Jotform, and this will come. You click on that and this is your Jotform window. You click on Jotform tab and it will be the exactly same view that you will get from their website. This is the view that you'll get from their website, but once you install the App Exchange, it is exactly the same view that you'll get within your Salesforce org. So basically you can do everything within your Salesforce org and you don't need to go to their website. If in your team, if they don't have access to Salesforce, they normally operate from the Jotform website, and if they create a form and share that form with you, then you can access that form right from your Salesforce. You don't need to leave Salesforce and go to their website. You can do everything from your Salesforce org. Okay, with that, let's create our first form. So create our first form, what you need to do, you need to click on this create form, and you have all these options. You can start from scratch, you can create a Salesforce form, you can use their template, or you can import your form, right? Or you can create a signable documents. What is signable documents? I'll come a little later in this video. But for the time being, let's create a Salesforce form. So once you click on this create Salesforce form, you need to select for which object you want to create. Let's say I want to create a form for contact. So you'll select contact, and then it will ask you what are the fields from the contact object you want to be part of your form. So I'll select first name, last name is already selected. I'll select mailing street, city, state, zip, country, and I'll select, for example, phone number and email address. That's all I need. And the moment you click on create form, boom, your form is created. And now within this form, you have all the options to modify. For example, start with the heading. You don't want this Salesforce contact form. You want this as just a contact form. So you can do that. The contact name, first name and last name. And also you see here, it's already telling that this first name and last name are already mapped with contact first name and last name. Similar way, this is a mailing address, this is a business phone, this is the email address. So this is a very quick way to create the form. But that's not all. They have a lot of advanced features. So once you come to this settings option, what you can do, you can click on integrate, and it's telling that it's already integrated to Salesforce. So now let's click on that and click on edit integration. It's already integrated with contact object. So let's click on this gear icon. And what is telling that once someone fill up information on this form, what action you want to take. Do you want to create a record or you want to find an existing record? So create a record is basically it will generate a new record or update an existing record. And what is find? It will find an existing record or create a new one if it doesn't exist. So creating record in terms of like it will create a contact record, and these are all the mapping. These are the fields from the contact object and how it maps with the form fields, right? For example, form last name matches with the contact last name. Form first name matches with the contact first name, that way. Now, as I was telling, it will create a new record or update an existing record. But how it will find the existing record, right? So if you want to update an existing record, you need to first find that. So for that, you need to enable that, and then it will ask you what is the matching criteria. So for example, my last name should match with my contact last name. My first name, contact first name should match with the form first name. And let's say email. My contact email should match with my form email. So what is basically telling, if the form first name, last name and email matches with an existing contact's first name, last name and email, then instead of creating a new contact, let's update that existing contact. So now click on save action and save integration. Once this is done, click on finish and click on publish. And this is the form. You can now have this form URL, you can open in a new tab. Now let's find a existing contact from the object. For example, this is my name, and if you see here, this is my first name, last name, and this is my email address. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use my first name and last name and my email address, and I'm going to update the phone number. I'll put my first name, my last name. I'll put as King Street. City, I'll put Toronto. State, I'll put Ontario. And I'll put some random zip code, and here I'll put Canada as a country. And here I'll put a new phone number, which is 999-888-7777. Email, I'll put my email address. And the moment I click on submit, what it will do, it will find an existing contact based on the matching first name, last name and email address. I'm going to update all this field. So let's test that. Now click on submit, and if I refresh my existing contact and go here, you see my phone number is updated and also my email address. So the integration is very smooth. So basically this form URL you can share with your colleagues. You can post that in your website. You have all the options to publish this URL. Couple of more things that you can do. Once you come to this page and click on all form, it will show you all your forms. You can basically click on that and click on edit form. And then you have all the options to edit this form. For example, now you want to make this phone number as a mandatory field, right? So you can click on this gear icon and click this required option on. So that way, business phone will become always a mandatory field. Now let's understand another use case. For example, in your Salesforce org, you have all these contacts, and what you want to do, you want to send a feedback page to all your contacts. Basically, you want to collect feedback from all your contacts, right? How you can do that. So let's go back to this form again, and let's start by creating a new form. But this time I want to create a form from scratch. So I'll click here and click on classic form. And this time, let's change this name as feedback form. Here, choose the first name and last name. Let's choose their email. And let's put a thing here as please provide your feedback. Now let's make this fields as mandatory. So I'll click on this one and click on required. Similar way, I click this as required, and definitely the feedback should be required. I clicked on that. Now, if I go and publish that, you find that the form looks good, right? I can provide my name, first name, last name, email, and my feedback. But when I will publish this form for all these contacts, what I want, the first name and last name and the email address should be pre-filled. How can I do that? I don't want them to write their first name, last name, and email address. I want it to be pre-filled. I just want them to type their feedback. How can I do that? The way to do that is, once you come to this publish page, you click on Prefill, and here you select the Salesforce Prefill option. Once you click on that, you select contacts, and then it will tell you last name will go to the Jotform last name, first name will go to the Jotform first name, and email will go to this email. And click on Save Settings. So once that is done, you click on Add a new Prefill, and then you select all the contacts from whom you want to collect the feedback. So I'll select all. So here I cannot select more than 20 contacts. The reason is that when you select the Jotform registration page, you will find what are the different subscriptions that you can choose. So currently I am in a starter, and with the starter I cannot select more than 20 contacts for the prefill. But if you go higher, for example enterprise gold, you have a different options. You have a much higher limit. But since I am in the starter, which is basically free, I cannot select more than 20 contacts. So let's get rid of few. So should be good. So I've selected 20 contacts and click on create. And what it will do, it will automatically create 20 different URL for all my 20 different contacts. Now let's say if I open the URL for James Bond, I click on that, and you see the first name, last name, and the email is automatically pre-filled. I don't need to fill all this information. Similar way, there is a John Bond. Now, if I share this URL with John Bond, when John will get this URL and open this URL, he doesn't have to fill up his first name, last name, and email address. It's automatically pre-filled. The only thing that he has to do, provide the feedback. So it's a very powerful feature, and it's called the pre-filled in Jotform platform. What you can do, you can select all and click on send invitation, and then it will select the email addresses and send an invitation to all of them. So from one single page, you can send their customized URL to all the individual contacts. Okay, so let's talk about another feature from Jotform, which is called the ESignature. So first I'll create a form. I'll click on this create form, and I'll choose create signable document, and I'll choose use template. This time I want to create a form for the lease agreement. So I'll select this template, but there are a lot of templates that you can choose from. But for this demo, I'll choose this template. Here, this template is already pre-built. What is a landlord, what is a tenant, and all this information. I'll click on settings. It will tell all the options, like what are the email settings that you have. Like you can customize your email signature. You can put a customized email body. And also you can do an integration with all the other platforms like Salesforce, Trello, Slack. But for this demo, I want to concentrate more on the same part. Here, this is me, the landlord and tenant. Let's put the tenant name, which is Jon Snow. And for Jon Snow's email, I'm going to use one of my other email address. Here, I have the option to put a custom message for my tenant. Hey, John, please have a look and sign the document as soon as possible. I can put a custom access code. So let's put 1234 and click on send to sign. Now when I click on send to sign, as you can see, there is a signing order. So first it will come to me be the owner or landlord, and then it will go to the tenant. Tenant is Jon Snow. I have the option to change the signing order. I can make the message go to tenant first and to me. But for the time being, I just want to me be the owner or landlord be the number one person, and tenant is the second person. If I go to the option tab, then I can put different things like what is the expiration date of this document, if the document is not signed, how I can send the automatic reminder email, and all this thing. So for the time being, I keep it very simple and click on send to sign. When I click on send to sign, first email will come to me as the landlord. When I'll sign the document, then it will go to Jon Snow as a tenant. So I click on send to sign, and this is the page. if I click on this track option, it will tell that it actually went to me and it's waiting for my signature. Let's see how it looks like when it will come to my mailbox. So when the message will come to my email, this is how it will look like. So I can click on review and sign document, and then it will ask me to put some information. Important here, I can sign the document. This is my name, and click on next and today's date, and then I'll click on sign and complete. The moment I will do that, it will ask me to accept and send. Once I will do that, it's basically will tell that signing from my side is done. Now if I go back to my Jotform and from this drop down click on my signed document, this is the signed document, and if I click on sign in box, it is telling that signing from the landlord is done, and now the mail goes to the tenant. So tenant will receive an email at this email address. So let's wait for the tenant email to come. Now this is how the mail will look like for the tenant. As you can see, I have configured this private message, so that private message will come for the tenant, and when tenant will click on review and sign the document, the first thing is access code, because I have configured access code for the tenant. So I'll put the access code and click on validate. So tenant will see that this document is already filled. So what tenant will do, tenant will sign and complete. First thing is the signature. Click on the signature and the date, choose today's date, and then sign and complete. Accept and send. So the entire signature is being done. Now if I go back to this page and do a refresh, from here I'll select again my signed document, and once I click on this one, sign inbox, it will show that both the parties, landlord and the tenant, signature is done. So this is a very powerful feature. With that feature, you can basically create a signable document and also track the signature of each parties. Now let's talk about one important feature from Jotform, which is basically the approval form. So here is the use case. The use case is I want to create a leave application form. And in that form, the person who is actually applying for the leave, the person will put his email address, first name, last name, leave reason, which date, and finally put the manager's name and manager email address. And the moment the person submits that form, the mail will go to manager, and manager will either approve or reject the leave request. Very basic, but let's see how quickly and how easily we can make or implement this scenario in Jotform. We'll start with creating a form, which is basically the leave form. I'll start from scratch, classic form, and let's change the name as leave application form. Here I'll choose the full name, then I'll choose the email address, I'll choose a date, which is basically the leave date. I'll change the name as leave date, and I'll put a long text, which is basically the leave reason. Next, I'll put another full name, which is basically manager's name, and an email address field, which is basically manager's email. So form looks good, very simple form. Let's go to the settings page, and here I'll put an integration. I'll configure the integration with Salesforce and create the integration with the contact object. So the last name goes to the last name, first name, all looks good. Now here in my contact object, I have created two custom fields. I'll show you. So here is my contact object. Now if I go to the field section, I have created two custom fields, which is basically the leave reason and the leave date. And I want to populate these two fields from this form. How can I do that? Is that basically I click on add field, and here I'll choose as leave reason from the object is basically mapped to the leave reason. Similarly, the leave date goes to the leave date. I'll update and record based on the email address. I'll choose email from the contact object matches with the leave application form email address, and I click on save action. Save integration is saved. So now I want to put an approval flow using this form. So how can I do that? I can do this right from the setting page. So if you go on the settings page and click on approval flows, you can create an approval flow from here. So I click on create and it will create this approval flow. So it starts with this form, and who is the approver? Approver is basically, I have to remove that from the form field. I want to choose manager. So manager is approver. And then there are two options. Either manager will approve or manager will deny. So based on that, the message will go to, this is a message that your request has been approved. And in the recipient, instead of this email, you can choose from the form email. You can choose manager or you can choose email. Email is basically the person who's actually applying for the leave. So now click on save. Similar way, if the request is denied, then also the message should go to the person who is applying for the leave. And once your approval process looks good, what you need to do, you need to click on settings, publish. Now if you open this URL in a new tab, this is application form. Let's choose a contact from the Salesforce org. So I'm going to choose this contact, Andy Young. As you can see, leave reason and leave date are blank. So what I'm going to put is that Andy Young email address, and Andy is actually applying for a leave for 31st of October and the reason is holiday. Andy's manager is basically me. So I'll put my email address here and then click on submit. The moment I click on submit, if I go back to my Salesforce org and refresh this page, the first thing that I'll find is that these two fields are being populated. So integration is working absolutely fine. So now I'll go to my mailbox and see that email where I can take the action, either approve or reject the leave request. So here is the email that I have received as Andy's manager, that Andy actually requested for a leave on this date, and here is the reason for the leave. And I have the option to click on approve or deny. So if I click on approve, is basically what it will do. It will approve the request, and then it means Andy's request is being approved, and a final email will go to Andy that your request is being approved by your manager. So as you can see, it's a very easy way to configure approval processes based on your business need. But that's not all. This Jotform provides more feature. And one of the important feature is like how you can integrate multiple payment processor with your application. So they have all sort of payment processors, like starting from PayPal, WorldPay, ClickBank, Apple Pay, Cash Pay. So all these payment processors can be easily integrated within your form. Another important feature is basically how easily and quickly you can integrate your form with other platforms. For example, Zapier, Salesforce, Square, they have Google Sheet, Google Calendar, Slack. They have all sort of integrations available, and basically you can very easily integrate all this application with your Jotform form. Finally, when we are all talking about forms, submitting information, collecting information, the very important factor is how secure the form will be. So Jotform's forms are very secure. As you can see, they are protected 256-bit SSL. Forms are encrypted. They are PCI certified. They are GDPR compliance. If you are collecting information as part of your healthcare application, then they are HIPAA compliant. So I'll put the link of their security page in the description of this video, so you definitely go and check that out. So that's all for today. I highly recommend using their platform if your business demands creating multiple forms. I recommend that you start with their starter package because it's free, but this package will give you enough information to explore this platform and find out all the features. And then depending on your business need, you can either upgrade to bronze, silver, gold, or enterprise. But if you ask me, I personally feel this platform has a lot of potential. With this platform, you can easily create multiple forms and bring those forms to your customers very quickly. And that's the way how you should grow your business. That's all for today. Let me know what you think about this platform. Put your comment in the description of this video, and if you like this video, please hit the like icon, share, and please subscribe to my channel so that you came to know about all my upcoming videos. Till then, thank you. Bye bye.